Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we are talking about the spell Globe of Invulnerability. Right now I've got the Legacy version up. We're going to look at the 2024 version. We're going to look at the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons version, the 2nd edition version, and the 3rd edition version. We're going to compare all of them. We're going to look at some differences, and I am going to talk about a school of wizard that can utilize this spell very well. All right, let's get into it. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. Don't forget to share this video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, so back in the day, we gave Globe of Invulnerability an A rating. So are we going to give Globe of Invulnerability for 2024 an A rating? Well, we'll see. So it's a 6th level spell, 1 action. It has a range of self. It is a 10-foot radius sphere-ish around you. It's a barrier, 10-foot radius. That's like a hemisphere. Verbal, somatic, and material component, which is a glass or crystal bead that shatters when the spell ends, but it's worthless, so you don't have to worry about it. Lasts for a minute. It is concentration. It is School of Abjuration. So, an immobile, so you cannot move it. Faintly shimmering barrier springs into existence in a 10-foot radius around you and remains there for the duration. Any spell of 5th level or lower cast from outside the barrier cannot affect creatures or objects within it, even if the spell is cast using a higher level spell slot. So let me highlight that right now because it's going to be important when we go over the 2024 version. Such a spell can target creatures and objects within their barrier, but the spell has no effect on them. Similarly, the area within the spell is excluded from the areas affected by such spells. Like if they cast a fireball outside the spell, then it works, but the radius doesn't go inside. And then you can upcast this spell, and when you do, then you block spells of a 1 level lower. So if you cast this at 7th level, you block 6th level spells. And again, even if the spell is cast using a higher spell slot. That was the Legacy version. Let's take a look at the 2024 version. So, still a 6th level spell, still 1 action, still self, still 10-foot radius, still the same components, still a minute, still concentration, still abjuration. So, an immobile shimmering barrier appears in a 10-foot emanation, that's a new term for 2024, around you and remains for the duration. Any spell of 5th level or lower cast from outside the barrier cannot affect anything within it. Such a spell can target creatures and objects within the barrier, but the spell has no effect on them. Similarly, the area within the barrier is excluded from areas of effect created by such spells. Guess what's missing here? The sentence... Again, the sentence that we have highlighted here is no longer there. That is a nerf. That is a pretty big nerf. I can now cast Fireball at 6th level, and it will affect you inside of the Globe of Invulnerability. Whereas before, it would not. So they took that away, which I'm not sure why they did. And then you can still cast the spell using a higher level spell slot, which blocks spells 1 level higher for each level above 6. So again, if you cast at 7th level, it blocks 6th level spells or lower. But if I cast a Fireball at 7th or 8th level, then it's not going to block it at that level. I would need to cast this at 8th or 9th level to do that, correspondingly, retrospectively with those Fireballs. So that is generally a nerf. Now, what grade do we give this spell? Does this really kind of affect the spell? I'm still giving it an A. We gave it an A. We gave it an A before. We're still giving it an A. The only difference is that it's going to force spellcasters that want to affect creatures or objects inside of a Globe of Invulnerability to cast spells at a higher level if they can. This spell is such an awesome spell. I did a remake of the Return to the Tomb of Horrors for 5th edition. We had a group go through it. There is a vampire in there in the Skull City. She cast this spell, and the players couldn't figure out for the life of them why they couldn't affect her with 3rd level spells. And they kept casting like 3rd and 4th level spells, and they weren't doing anything. Then they could see a shimmering barrier around her, but nobody could figure out that she had a Globe of Invulnerability. And they like went through all of those spell slots before they finally figured out that she had this on her and that they couldn't actually affect her. And any spells of 5th level or lower cast from outside cannot affect anything within. Such a spell targets a creature. Spell has no effect. Similarly, the area within the barrier is excluded from areas effect created by such spells. So she could cast spells outside as long as she wanted, and they couldn't touch her with their spells. And they finally used, I think it was a 6th level spell or something, because she cast this at 5th level and totally took her out at that point. But that was after about 5 different 3rd and 4th level spells got cast. All right, so there is a class, I did promise this, there is a class that you should totally be thinking about because it is a wizard spell for this particular spell, and that is Abjurer. And Abjurer with the Arcane Ward, there it is right there. So it has hit point maximum equal to twice your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier. And whenever you cast an abjuration spell with a spell slot, that's Globe of Invulnerability, the ward regains a number of hit points equal to twice the level of the spell. If you cast this as a 6th level spell, it's going to gain 12 points back. Alternatively, as a bonus action, you can spend a spell slot, and the ward regains a number of hit points equal to twice the level of the spell you just expended. So there you go. And then at 6th level, you can project that ward out to other people. But this is the big thing, is you can use this spell to keep your ward going. That is a big, big deal. All right, let's look at some other, let's get rid of this, and let's look at some spells. So here is Globe of Invulnerability from the Player's Handbook for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, or some of you like to call it 1E. I like to call it Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. It was a level 6 spell, and there were actually 2 versions of this. There was a 4th level version called Minor Globe of Invulnerability, and then there was the Globe of Invulnerability. And it had a casting time of 1 round, which was pretty massive back then. It was a 1-inch diameter sphere, which covered a pretty big radius, about 10 feet. And it essentially, the spell is the same as the 4th level Minor Globe of Invulnerability, except as regards casting time, and for the fact that it prevents the functioning of 1st through 4th level spells affecting the magic user within the globe while he or she can cast spells through it, of course. Gary Gygax always liked to put those little extra words and phrases in when he wrote. So this is the same as the Globe of Invulnerability in 5th edition, which can exclude 5th level spells. This one cannot. It's 1st through 4th level spells. So that's how that works. And otherwise, it just effectually it works exactly the same. All right, so 2nd edition. Here is the 2nd edition. Again, they had I'm going to move my thing up here. And again, they had a Minor Globe of Invulnerability and a Globe of Invulnerability. So one was 6th level, one was 4th level. This is the 6th level version. Creates a immobile, faintly shimmering magic sphere around the caster that prevents 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th level spells from penetrating. Thus, the area of effect of any such spell does not include the area of the globe. Same thing as 1st edition, a little bit more of a description of the spell itself, and it can be brought down by Dispel Magic. That was not in the previous version. And then we have the 3rd edition, which is right here. And there is Globe of Invulnerability and Globe of Invulnerability Lesser. 4th level spell for the Lesser, 6th level spell for the regular. In 5th edition, there's just Globe of Invulnerability. And again, this spell functions like Lesser Globe, except that it excludes 4th level spells and spell-like effects. So not 5th level spells, and you couldn't upcast it. It was just that. That's what it was. But otherwise, it's a standard action to do it. It has a range of 10 feet, has an area of 10 feet, and it lasts for 1 round a level. There's no saving throw or anything. And there was a little bit more of a description for this particular spell. But the lesser one was 3rd or lower, and the regular Globe of Invulnerability was 4th or lower spells. So all good stuff. All good stuff. Let's get back to this right here, and let's move me down right here. So, still an A-level spell. I do like this spell quite a bit. It, for players that are not familiar with this spell, they probably should become familiar with this spell. Otherwise, they're going to kind of be grasping in the dark to figure out what's going on. And then for players, this is a great one. You put this up, and enemy spellcasters are basically done, unless they want to use really, really, really high level slots for their spells. All right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everyone later.